Well, hello.
Hi. Hello. It's our first episode.
Our first episode of Sisterhood of the Traveling Rants, where we talk about hot takes, news, and anything we fucking feel like.
Also known as STR.
Also known as STR, not STP. Not to get confused with Stone Temple Pilots. We're not them. We're not them
Those
at all.
guys. They're awesome, though.
They are great.
I wish.
They're great. But that is not us. Okay? There's a letter difference. But, yep, thank you for coming to our first episode. And welcome. We're going to be... Well, should we introduce ourselves? Oh, my God. We should have thought about this.
I'm Sagwa, the Chinese cat.
So we have Sagwa, the Chinese cat. I'm Rose. And we have...
I'm Taryn.
Not confused with Karen.
Not
It's
confused
Taryn with the T.
Taryn
Yes,
with a T.
Taryn with a T.
Yes.
No, why?
She does not complain to the manager for anything. We don't do that here.
No.
I feel like
But-
we should talk about our lives in 2024 a little
know.
bit. Just a quick recap of our own shit.
Just a recap of 2024. I mean, we're in 2025 now, and 2024 was just a wild ride altogether, I think, personally and in the world in general. So why don't we just start from the top?
Well, I have a fun story. So early February, I'd walked into a nutrition store right after working out, as a baddie does. And I was talking to a nice young man. He was telling me that he just went out drinking the night before, was very tired.
Oh, dear.
Had a quick conversation.
I get
He
it.
was
It'd be like
cool.
that.
I thought he was cool. Left, didn't really think about anything of it. Ended up following his band. They were called La Llorona. Or Llorona? How do you
La
say it?
Llorona.
Llorona.
The scary witch lady.
Very scary. Cool band. They are no longer active, though.
Oh.
In February, the local band released a statement on Instagram announcing they had parted ways with their lead singer, who I met that day,
Damn.
because he admitted during a drunken rant to secretly putting estrogen in his bass's protein powder in an attempt to trigger a transition, and that he was in love with his bass's fiance. Diego was his name, and allegedly hoped that the bassist fiance would find him more attractive after the transition and leave her fiance for him.
This was too thought
This
out.
was in February. I started off 2024 very strong.
I think we all tried to. I think we all tried to start it
Yeah.
off very strong, and it did not end that
So-
way.
We're not trying to do that.
I
though.
don't understand.
No.
So he put estrogen in protein powder.
Is that legal? That's not legal.
Allegedly.
No, it's not legal. Oh, no,
yeah,
you can't do that.
You can't-
You can't trick your bandmates into
No.
taking protein powder.
Is he like in
No.
jail right now? Like,
I don't know.
what's happening?
I haven't spoken to him.
I would commit a felony if somebody ever did that to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry to that man.
you should have let me know.
Man.
Sorry to that man.
How insane do you have to be to dose your bandmate like that?
It's,
Yeah.
it's somebody you're supposed to trust too, because when you're in a band, those are your friends most of the time. They're most of the time your
Right.
friends. So, you should feel safe to be able to leave your drinks and shit around them. And
Yeah.
little do you know, somebody's over here putting estrogen in your protein powder. Oh God,
You're
no.
staying
It
in
couldn't be me.
hotel rooms with them, spending quality time with them. That's scary.
That's really
That's
terrifying.
scary.
Also, how transphobic do you have to be like, oh yeah, your fiance's gonna leave you if you get some tits?
Yeah.
I mean, oh,
That's
Brady.
that's a whole nother layer to
Dang.
it. That's a whole nother layer to it, because
Layers to this
no.
shit.
it's like you're trying to get something out of this horrible thing that you're doing, but you're also pushing an agenda here
And that
too.
he was the next best
Yeah.
thing. This man was
That
5
doesn't
foot
work.
nothing, by the way.
It's always the
so
short ones.
Short kings.
It's always-
Short kings are also
Short
cranky.
kings.
They you know
Yeah.
what?
Crazy.
Cranky and crazy,
Cranky,
both.
cranky and crazy.
Because you have to be a little bit cranky too to be mad that your bassist was with somebody, and
Yeah.
you have to be a little cranky too, and
A little
crazy
cranky.
to do that.
Maybe
Yeah.
a lot cranky.
Absolutely
Who
not.
knows?
That's
Yes, I
just
don't
not
go
it.
to that nutrition store anymore.
I fucking
Probably
wouldn't.
smart.
I wouldn't.
I mean, that's a story though.
That is.
You weren't involved in it at all. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only
Crazy.
the next day that I met him, I woke up to that. I
Wow.
was like,
That's
All
some
right.
tea.
Well,
That's some tea.
That's some tea.
The universe
go
loves
back.
to put me into, crazy people's lives.
Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes crazy people just come into your life, and it comes into your life for a reason.
I dated a few people in 2024, unsuccessfully.
Ooh.
Same.
Invited a man over to my house. Don't know if you guys ever experienced this. Very small studio I had before I moved into my current place. The bathroom was right by the living room. I would call myself, a big shitter. And
Same.
I
all
did
shit
not
big.
want to do that. Did not want to do that around this nice man. And I lived in the woods at the time. So my next best thing was to
I forgot about it.
go outside. Oh, I'm gonna take my dog out for a while. I'll be right back.
You know what?
I tied my dog to a tree and I said, "I'll be right back, girl."
You
I
tied
was-
Zoe to a tree?
I didn't want to. What? What was I gonna do? This is my first time having him over. I was gonna play myself like that.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
No.
You gotta do what you
But
gotta do.
now we know what
and
to
I'm
do.
for it.
And I came back like nothing had happened. It was okay.
You know
And
what?
we made out. It was great.
I commend you for that,
And,
honestly.
and
Like,
he ended
I
up
really
like,
did.
going back to his ex-girlfriend, and now they live together. So good for him. Yeah,
You should have shit in the bathroom.
But
You
if
know
he
what? You
only
should've.
knew that I had to fall on my sword for him, yeah.
You know,
If you're watching this, yeah, I fucking did that.
yeah, she shit in the woods for you.
I shit in the woods for
Sometimes
you.
you
In the
have to.
woods. But you
Yeah.
know what? Have you ever shit in the ocean?
Oh God.
Oh.
I never have either. I'm just asking.
Let's
I'm just asking. Like,
Let's go around the room.
like, where's the weirdest place you've ever shit? Like,
Ooh, that's a great question.
I think I have to really think about that one because I've shit in
Yeah.
some pretty strange places. I've got to say.
Really?
Yes, I have.
The
Walmart
bathroom?
bathroom for number one.
Walmart
The Walmart
bathroom?
bathroom is very strange.
Just a regular
You hear
bathroom.
some of the strangest shit in a Walmart bathroom, and I have to be
Ew.
mentally prepared for it. So I'm like, can I hold it till I get home?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't peed in weird places. I haven't shit anything.
Same.
Anywhere
Yeah.
weird.
Mickey's Tavern. I've shit in there before.
Mickey's Tavern. I've peed outside of Mickey's Tavern.
I
Yeah,
love that.
there's that wooded area.
That wooded area.
Yeah.
It's
I get
prime
that.
peeing spot,
Sometimes you have to. In that little bathroom, there's like
It
40
was-
people in there all the
Everywhere
time.
was
I
closed,
swear.
and I was really not super drunk, but I was kind of drunk, and I really had to pee. And there was
Yeah.
a movie theater that looked closed. It was not
Right.
closed. I was peeing by the dumpster, and the manager just comes out of nowhere and be like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm sorry," and I'm like pulling up my pants, while like crying and running.
You never have to apologize for that.
No.
You know?
How
No.
could he make you feel shamed
Yeah,
of
how
that?
is it-
Like,
come
how could
on.
he shame you for that? Like, come
It's a
on.
movie
He's not a
theater.
girl. He doesn't get it.
No, he
Yeah.
doesn't.
Girl.
No, because men can just whip it out and pee wherever.
Right.
Women, we have
They
to
don't
have a
get it.
science. There's a science to
To it.
peeing. Like, so,
Yeah.
I've peed in a bottle, and let me tell you, that was by the grace of God. Like, that was truly by the grace
Splash
of God
in a bottle.
and Allah
The
and
splash
Buddha
zone.
and all of them. Like, I don't know
Man.
how I did it, but I did it.
Whoever
And
you believe in.
whoever you believe in, yes, it was
Shout
by the
out to
grace of
them.
all of them. You know
Yeah.
Shout out to the gods.
what? Shout out to them.
Whatever's up there.
How about your dating lives?
Mine did not exist, and you know what? I'm glad I focused on myself all of
Hell
2024. I don't like to talk about 2024. 2024 was shit for me, but like not in terms of dating, but for other reasons. But like as far as personal life, like it was just a really tumultuous time for me. Like I've got to say, but 2025 hopefully is a little better. Hopefully is a little better. I say that. Hopefully.
Rocky start so far.
Taryn, what about
Very.
you?
I dated a few people last year. Didn't work out. That's okay.
You know what? That's okay.
That's okay.
Fine. And I go through this thing where I like date somebody for like 3 months, and then it's like, oh yikes, we're out of the honeymoon stage, and now we're just like here.
Right.
It's not just like, oh, you're cute, let's hang out every day. Nope. I hate you now.
Right.
The lizard
I hate
skin
you now.
just exposes itself.
See?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Every time. And I'm
Every
like,
time.
how do I get out of this cycle? It happens to me every time.
Is there ever like a turning point that you feel like, okay, I gotta leave, like this is done?
Yeah. And then I don't know what it is really. I think I'm just like, oh, I think I just want my life back. Because I tend to like morph myself into the person I'm dating, which is not good. Don't do that. Don't learn from my mistakes, because not a good idea.
You know, and it's hard too, because you want to like share your life with somebody that, you know, is on the same page as you, but it's unfortunate whenever they just like are not, and you find that out, and it just shatters any like quote unquote illusion that you have of them. Like that's the shitty part. I think that's why I just stayed away from dating last year, because I was like, I don't want to deal with that, because it's just gonna make me resent you, and I don't want to have to go through that. Like,
right, and like all your friends are like, "Where are you? Haven't seen you in weeks."
Right.
Like, and I'm like, "Oh wait,
About me.
yeah, Jessica, yeah." She was like, "Hey, where you at?"
Sometimes I send messages in a bottle.
you know, did you ever get
Send
that?
notes
The messages?
No, by pigeon.
Passing notes in class by pigeon?
Yeah. I'm like fucking Harry Potter. Like,
I'm dead.
Harry
By
Potter.
owl.
Not
Like,
Harry Potter.
I'm so
Get
dead.
Hedwig on the line.
That
I
is
noticed
so
that
funny.
on the couple of dates I went on. I've only dated Caucasian people, unfortunately. But
I'm so sorry.
old white,
Yeah, my condolences.
old white women love to tell me. They would love to tell me that they're okay with, you know, me dating a white man, but they can't say that
What is
verbatim.
up with that?
So they come up to me and my date and say, "You guys are such a beautiful couple." Every time.
Wait, like when you're out at a restaurant?
Yes, anywhere.
That's
That was
embarrassing for
playing
them.
mini golf.
That is
They came
embarrassing
up to
for
us,
them.
said, "No, you guys make such a cute couple, such a beautiful couple." And the guy I was with was like, "That's never happened to me before. I mean, compliments nice, but what?
Like, why?
I've never gotten that before."
Oh, we all know why.
We know
They were
why.
like, "You know
why,
what?
Grandma?"
I'm okay with this.
Right.
This doesn't hurt me."
But also, it's like, I didn't need your permission. Like, for you to be okay with me
You
dating
know,
who
back
I
in
want.
my day, you guys would have been killed.
Oh, God.
Such a beautiful sight to see you.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
That white man.
Beautiful sight to see,
Oh,
she said.
God.
We can all get along.
You know
Can't
what? We sure can, but can you, Grandma? Can you get along with
Grandma.
all
Sharon,
this?
can
Like,
you get along?
right, like,
Let's just mind our business and not.
You know,
make
I
comments.
used to have a love interest back in the day. His name was Jeremiah. We could never be.
we could never be.
Never
Like,
be.
do tell me, Fran. Like, please enlighten me as to why you couldn't be.
They're
Right,
ridiculous.
let's hear it.
You would be
Francis.
surprised. Some of the things that come out of these old people's mouths, like, it is insane. Like, especially, like, y'all are trying to have a good, nice dinner or lunch at a restaurant, and somebody just walks up to you, like, as if, like, you asked permission to, like, date whoever you want.
This
Like,
is
The outside. with
Like,
someone.
This
like, yeah.
is fine with me.
Right. You know what? I just want to let you know.
Okay. Don't know you at all.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
And then I like have to punch a hole in their card for like being a good person.
right, right,
They get their star for the day.
I need
Yeah.
3 more.
right. Like,
Can I get my NAACP card?
not the NAACP card.
I'm an ally.
Oh my
Please.
God. And that's the crazy thing too, is that, you know, like, they go out of their way to let you know that they're not, you know, racist, or they're not going to discriminate. And it's like, in order for you to do that, you don't have to tell me. It's like, you can
Right.
just be, like, you can just prove with your actions.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me that you're not racist, because then I'm going to think that you are racist. Like, you know,
Yes.
I feel like anytime anybody comes out of the, like, woodwork and they're just like, I have to let you know that, like, you as a black woman dating a white guy is totally fine. Like, this makes me think that maybe you're not actually fine with it, and you're trying to alleviate some part of yourself that isn't fine with it by saying so. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's just, you don't have to say that. Just
No.
prove it with your
Some
actions.
people have a parental role for other races. I don't know why.
It's
and they
so
adopt
true.
it for black people. And I'll be venting. It's like that lady we were venting to in the bar about me getting water thrown on me. And
Yeah.
she's like, defend black women. I was like, okay, yes, period. But also,
Right.
why are we shouting this out right now?
Right.
Yeah.
I just want you to listen to my story.
Right.
Also, yes.
I'm a person
Right.
that got water thrown at me. Like,
Right.
That happens to be black.
It happens to be black, yeah.
Right.
Which, like, not good. It's
Like,
like,
Which
I
is
need you to focus. Focus.
Right. Like, let's focus on the issue at hand here. Like,
Yeah.
who threw water at you, and let's find them.
yeah. and do something
And
that we
I
can't
just want to talk
say
about
on
this
this.
stupid ass movie that I didn't see, but I don't want to see because the previews were awful. Better Man, count your fucking days. Robbie Williams, who the fuck are you?
Oh God.
What?
He's a dancing monkey.
Enlighten us, yes.
But
I've never seen this
it's a
movie.
chimpanzee. I don't care what anybody says. The movie, the previews that we were watching, and the dude is, I'm going to tell you about my story of becoming a pop star. And he's literally an animal. He's a dancing monkey, but it's a chimpanzee. And then he's
So
supposed to be
what's-
like, at first I really thought, oh, is this Planet of the Apes? Is this a spinoff?
Oh my
What's
God.
Caesar doing? Like, what's going on?
So what was the premise of the movie? Let's just
That his story, his life story. But we don't know who Robbie Williams is.
so he made a
Clearly
movie
y'all
about
don't.
himself?
So yeah, I don't know who funded this movie. That's like so hard to know.
This is some J-Lo shit.
Who is?
This is some
I'm
J-Lo
like
shit.
trying to think of
100%.
an obscure person in pop that no one would know.
Right.
Like that, like what? Why would you? Who cares?
But like he made a movie about himself?
Yes.
That really is some J-Lo
Yeah.
shit, actually.
Is this
like,
in theaters? Like,
Yes, it was in theaters. They took
Okay.
the time to put it in theaters and put previews before like really interesting movies.
oh my God.
So yeah, Robbie Williams, I still don't know who you are. I'm so sorry. I didn't watch your movie. That's a chimpanzee, though. I don't care what you
he'll
say.
be watching this.
You know what? I just want to know why you were a chimpanzee. Like that's
But you said it was a monkey, and then like people, I think they kept commenting on it. So I saw one preview, and it said, yes, this is a monkey. Like in like parentheses. Like I think people were like
my.
messing with them so hard, be like, that's a chimpanzee. That's a chimpanzee. What's your right? And they had to put that.
what? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
So he made a movie about his life,
Yep.
but he starred it as a chimpanzee.
It's very strange.
Yes.
Welcome to 2025. Like, it's 2025, everybody. Like,
Here we are.
Gonna go to our
okay, we're gonna hit our hot topics
Actually,
here.
we're just gonna go through an events. Our events.
Our events of 2024.
Or not current events,
You
but
know,
the past events that were big.
Right. They're pretty big, you know, I mean, especially considering, you know, everything that happened in our own personal lives, like everything that was happening in the world at that time.
Start off my little thing. Drake Bell, best known for his role as Drake Parker on the popular children's show Drake and Josh, revealed that he was sexually assaulted by dialogue and acting coach Brian Peck, no relation to Josh, just saying,
None.
I thought that too, while working at Nickelodeon Studios. Peck was charged with 11 counts of child abuse in 2003, but the identity of minor was not revealed until March 2024, in the scathing HBO documentary Quiet on Set.
Right.
So,
That
Watched it.
really, you know, it's
that's
crazy.
a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot in the sense that, you know, we watched those shows growing up. We watched Nickelodeon and Nick at Night. And, you know, to see the actors, you know, perform on these shows and to now know what was actually going on behind the
Right.
scenes, like that's what was most, you know, shocking was that there's always been some level of weird shit going on in Hollywood. There's always been like that. But for it to actually come out and be, you know, be shown, and there are people with real life accounts of horrible things that happen to them behind those scenes, it makes you watch those shows differently. Like I can't watch Drake and Josh the same, and I can't watch, you know, other Nickelodeon shows that doesn't come to mind right now, but like Drake and Josh specifically, like I can't watch that the same.
I can't watch the Amanda show. I
I
thought,
can't.
I really thought this documentary was going to be about her.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, oh, they're about to go in. I'm like,
Right.
Dan Schneider or something, which they did.
Right.
But I thought it was going to be about her. So when they were talking about this kid, I was like, oh, is it like...
Right.
And out comes Drake. I was like,
Right.
Drake Bell?
Right.
Drake?
The Drake.
Yeah, I
Bell.
was like, what the fuck?
Which I'm happy that he came on the show and talked about it, because I know he was under scrutiny
Yes.
for a while, and people did not like him.
Yeah.
I forget why.
It had to do with a case that there was like text messages back and forth between him and another girl.
Okay,
And
yeah.
the girl, I don't know everything about that case specifically, but it did get dropped in court from what I understand.
I think she was allegedly underage, but I
Gotcha.
don't think it was anything that,
Right.
you know, he experienced himself and was
Right.
trying to do on to others.
Right.
But yeah, and I think people did twist it in a way. And I think it was good that he came out
Right.
with this, just to be
Right.
like, hey, I wouldn't do that.
Right. Right.
Horrible things have happened to me.
Right.
So
Yeah.
And I could understand, you know, as far as like him wanting to, you know, come out and say like, hey, like I would never do something like that. But I can also understand why people wouldn't believe him, because there are, you know, there are just too many cases in this world where, you know, men attack women and women don't get, you know, believed. And that's the reality of things. Like people don't believe women, unfortunately. So, you know, in circumstances like that, like, you know, I can understand why he would want to come out and say like, hey, like, you know, I understand like this shit is wrong, you know, and it, you know, maybe like, again, I don't know the whole like story as far as what happened between him and this girl. But you know, for him to come out like on Quiet on Set and say like, hey, like I understand I've been under fire for similar reasons, but like, you know, I would never do that, because this has happened to me too. And that's also something that doesn't get talked about a lot, is that, you know, men experience assault also, you know.
it's shocking because
It
it's
is shocking.
not talked about a lot.
Right.
For that to be like such a mass.
Right.
Yeah, because it's like demasculizing.
Yes.
You know?
We
Yeah.
live in a society where men, quote unquote, aren't supposed to be attacked, right? So,
Right.
like, when a man talks about that he's been attacked, like, it's dehumanizing for him to speak about it because of his peers. His peers tell him, like, you know, oh, well, you're just a little bitch. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the culture, unfortunately. That's our society, is that, like, we don't take like male abuse seriously,
At all.
like, and honestly we don't take women's abuse seriously, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's goes on both sides, right? But like it's not as talked about because of the society that we live in, you
You
know.
know who does take it seriously? Fucking Mr. Bell, Drake's
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Oh, yeah.
that.
Shout
hero.
out to Drake's dad.
Yeah.
He was
Drake Bell.
saying things way before anything had like happened to his
Right.
son, but because Brian Peck is a gay man, he was labeled as a homophobe,
Right.
and kind of like basically ostracized from like the cast and crew members because they took his concerns about Brian like being touchy-feeling with his son as like just him being like, oh well, you just don't
You're a
like gay people.
homophobe.
It's
Right.
like, well, no, I
Right.
want to protect my son.
Right, exactly.
Doesn't matter.
But it's also, your son was under the age of 18, like at the
Yeah.
time that he was filming Drake and Josh. So I don't, regardless of what your orientation is, like no grown man should
Like, why are
be
you touching him?
touching
Never.
a child
Yeah.
in general, like, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can be whatever orientation that you are, but like there's no business for you to be calling Drake Bell's phone at 3 a.m. talking about, where are you, what are you doing, like. And that was part of the Quiet on
Yeah.
Set documentary, was that
Yeah.
you know, Drake Bell said that there was, you know, instances where Brian Peck would call him and text him
40
and
times, I think.
Yeah.
That was said
Yeah.
in the documentary.
exactly.
And you know who the mama was that was like,
I got words for
not
her.
not Drake's mom, but the other mama that said, yeah, that's weird. They said it was like Fifi Dobson's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because
who that
if
is.
I'm not mistaken, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but when she said that, like, she made it known
Yeah.
on the set of Nickelodeon that shit was weird, and they didn't cast her kid after that.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Like,
Wow.
she made it known, like, hey, this is weird. Like, you know, I don't know why a grown man is trying to make relationships with underage kids. And they didn't cast her kid after that. So it was like, kind of like they already knew that this shit was going on. But
Everyone,
they didn't want to
there
say.
was a party that they had because like apparently they all trusted him. But this dude, he had a signed picture from the serial killer, John Wayne Gacy.
Yes.
Who is?
He
If
did.
you don't know who John Wayne Gacy is, he's a little knucklehead. He's a prolific serial killer who raped and tortured a bunch of young men and boys in
Yes.
Chicago, Illinois, in like the 70s.
Right.
So
Right.
Oh,
that's
so he
like a
was
side.
like-
They were like, oh yeah, we trust this dude. There's a signed picture from John Wayne Gacy. I
Right.
don't know how much more of a red flag you want.
Right. You
But-
can't have a signed picture of a serial killer in your house and not have something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
something off here. Like I'm sorry,
yeah.
I don't want anything of any serial killer in my everyday
No.
presence. Like it's just like, so it's crazy to me that they saw that and they were like, "Oh, that's cool." I wouldn't think
Right.
that's cool. I would
They
leave.
all thought it was weird,
Yeah.
but they were like,
Immediately.
well,
Not
you
be
know,
there.
Brian would just never do that. What?
Right, because they're like,
How do you
"He's like
know?"
the guy that like carried around the pickles or whatever.
Yes.
Like this funny, like
Yes.
oh,
It's
God.
okay.
Yes.
That is a little bit weird.
And even as a child, I remember seeing that clip and I thought that was weird. I was like
always-
12 and I was like, that's weird. Like,
I always felt uncomfortable watching Victorious. I feel like that was the
Oh,
worst
yeah.
one.
yes.
iCarly was like a little bit bad, but I feel like they had a lot of like Jerry Trainer was on it
Right.
just to like, I don't know, kind of make
Respect.
it not weird.
Right.
And but Victorious was weird.
Yeah. Victorious
Yeah.
was
With
very
the
odd.
feet and
Yes.
just a cat's baby voice. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just Victorious too. Like there were other like shows on Nickelodeon that really went into scenes about feet. Like and even my own mom was just like, I don't know why they like feet so much. Way before this documentary came out, and she would even be like, "What's up with Nickelodeon and feet?
Yeah.
The
I
logo
heard
is a
that.
foot, like
Yeah, I was like,
you know."
And these
So
are like kids.
yes, these are children, and
so
so
weird.
Yeah.
you know, it's sad and it's awful, but like, and it's crazy because Dan Schneider is not in prison. Like he's not
He
in
is
prison.
not.
He's out and about
He-
living his
Right.
life. Yes, I don't think he's on. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he's on Nickelodeon anymore.
Oh, he's definitely not
But
on there.
He's still working. Brian Peck is
Yeah.
too. So
Wow.
What I have learned from that documentary and like from other accounts from cast members, I don't think Dan ever touched anyone. Like I haven't heard of that.
Yeah.
But he definitely was like a malignant narcissist
Yes.
and like raging misogynist.
there were accounts, like there's rumors from what I understand, like nothing's been confirmed that, you know, he did do something to Amanda
Right.
Bynes. Which I believe he did. Like I feel like there had to be something
Something
there.
happened.
Yeah.
Because, you
'Cause
know,
Big
and we
Girl's just
stand
out
Amanda
there.
Bynes. We stand Amanda Bynes here. Like she, you know, definitely deserved better. And I feel like, you know, just the clips and stuff of like, you know, when she would act on Nickelodeon, like the Amanda Show, she definitely looked uncomfortable. Like 9 times out of 10. Like, and I didn't catch that as a kid. Like when I watched the Amanda Show, like I didn't catch that as a child. But looking back at it now as an adult and knowing everything that we know now, like she looks very uncomfortable. Like when she's on that show, and
Oh,
she's,
she was
like,
in a
trying to
hot
hide it.
tub with him.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
And she was a child. He's a grown man looking like a thumb.
And she's
in
a
fucking
bikini.
hot tub with a child.
So,
Ugh,
So it's like
so bad.
it's terrible because, you know, these people are still walking amongst us. Like I hate the fact that Dan Schneider and Brian Peck are all like walking amongst us as we speak. Like free
Yeah.
as fuck. Like they never got what they deserved, and that's what really bothers me the most.
he
And
was arrested in 2003 for the things that he did to Drake. Basically, Drake says that he exploded after Brian told him that he was going to like trying to get casted as the father of Drake and Josh, like the
Right.
father in the show.
right,
Oh.
And he was like, "You are coming nowhere near my show.
right.
Like this is like I've had enough." And he just
Yeah.
exploded on the phone with his mom, and they immediately like went to the cops. But trial comes. He walks in the courtroom and he recounts that like, Brian's side is just filled with people.
Right.
Like just
There
like
were-
and notable names too, like Alan Thicke, Growing
Yeah.
Pains, James Marsden, Hairspray, Ryder Strong, Boy Meets World, Taron Killam from SNL.
Right.
Like these, like all these men were there, and then wrote letters of support for him. Some even blamed Drake, saying that Brian was pushed beyond belief, or Drake was a major temptation.
Right.
What?
I was like, what?
He
Which-
was a child.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like,
correct.
did y'all not know what the case was? And some
Right.
said like, oh, well, we were manipulated. How so? I don't know how was your friend at the time? I guess
Right.
hopefully, Brian Peck like telling you this story.
Right.
Because that doesn't make
Exactly.
any sense to be like, hey, dude, I'm actually going to court because this kid says I like raped him.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna block you now. Like,
Right.
I
Not that
understand.
it should have brought alarm when they, when they heard the story and understood that Drake was under the age of 18.
Yeah.
Like, and there were people that wrote letters in defense of Brian Penn.
Yeah.
Like, not even just the people who were in the courtroom supporting him.
Yeah.
But there were people who wrote letters about, like, oh, Brian's never done that to me before. And that type of person is such a dangerous person to be around. Like, point blank period. If somebody who hears your story is still willing to be like, oh, well, they never did that to me before, that's a dangerous person to be around.
Yeah.
Because they are willing to throw you under the bus so fast, and they're going to believe the narrative of you that they want to believe in their own head. No matter what you say, no matter what the
Speaking
facts are.
of people who are quick to say that's never happened to me, Ned's Declassified cast.
That's
Those little shits.
they
What with them?
oh my
So,
god, girl.
They
Yes.
decided to go on TikTok Live, I believe.
Yes.
And I highly doubt that they didn't know anything about the documentary because their comments.
Right.
Devin ends up saying, he's like, oh, that's never happened to us, or like was telling his castmate, what's his name, Daniel or something, like, oh, give me your holes. It was like the
Right.
weirdest like rape
Whoa.
jokes.
They
ever.
were basically making fun of the fact that
Making-
Quiet on
yeah.
Set came out.
So I was like, okay. And then when they came out with the apology, they like half-assed it. Basically said like, well, our set was never like that. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck about your
Nobody
set.
cares. Like,
No.
you know.
No one gave about. No one gave
Dude,
a fuck about
the
Ned's
only-
Declassified anyway.
Right.
Except my ass.
Right, well, I mean, I only watched it when there was nothing else to watch. Like,
yeah, I was
you know,
like, well, I'm bored.
I was like, oh, SpongeBob's
went
not
out.
on. SpongeBob's not on.
SpongeBob's not on.
I'm just gonna watch Ned's
They are
Declassified.
dying on this hill with
Default.
bringing it back. Like, let it
Why?
go.
I
don't
swear.
know.
I do not want a Ned's Declassified reboot.
don't know, and they
I've
just
had no
ruined-
desire.
Oh.
They've ruined it for
Yeah.
themselves anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like,
they know they have. And they even try to like be guests on Drake Bell's performance. Just like come out and like snapping their fingers. It's just looking at the crowd like
Cringe.
like forget us,
cringe.
forget us.
I would never show my face
No.
in public again if I were them.
They suck.
No.
And so sorry. And I know Lindsay and then Devin are like the two ones that keep coming out with scandals.
Yes.
The other cast member, I believe his first name is Daniel. So sorry to that man. He is
Coconut Head?
No, the black dude.
Oh, okay.
Cookie.
Cookie.
I'm just gonna call him Cookie.
Yes, Cookie.
Cookie. Yeah, Cookie has done anything wrong.
I was like, Cookie's the only normal one.
He's
I
the
feel
only one. No, he's the only
Wait, so
normal
it's
guy.
the two main,
Yes.
like,
It's only like the
characters?
characters who, Moses, and then I think was it Devin?
I think his name was
Characters
Devin.
was Devin.
Yeah. See, that's how much I
That's
watch
how
Ned's
much we don't
Declassified.
fucking
Like,
know.
that's how much we don't care about
Yeah.
Ned's Declassified.
I just
So-
forgot. I just forgot.
Go ahead and stop it. And Devin's not even a bad looking dude. Like, dude, like, just let it go. You kind of fucked yourself, but he could like get maybe a role as a drug dealer. I don't know.
You know, if they do a Breaking Bad reboot, then you better
Yeah,
apply.
you know
like,
when they come back. Hey,
Star in that.
I swear.
Robert Downey Jr. came back.
I mean, that's true.
Everybody
It
can
can
come
happen.
back.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
but I feel like there's certain things when you do attempt to come back
Yeah.
from it, like you also have to understand the level of like drasticness that
Yes.
you created in
Yeah.
order for you to come back from it, right? Because like y'all sat here on TikTok and basically denied the fact that any of that stuff that happened on Quiet on Set ever
Because
happened.
your set wasn't
That is
like
severe. That is so
Yeah.
severe to sit here, not only number one, victim blame, but act as if it never fucking happened. Like, just because it didn't happen to you on your set of Ned's Declassified, the show that nobody ever watched really, like, doesn't mean that it didn't happen to other Nickelodeon shows that people did watch. Like,
Yeah.
I can name 5 different Drake and Josh episodes. I don't remember a single episode of Ned's Declassified. Like, I cannot remember anything other than the little notepad would pop up and be like,
I remember
this is a
Coconut
rule
Head.
you don't do in school. I do remember Coconut Head. That's
Head.
it. And Cookie. That's it. I don't remember nobody else really. Like, so, but yeah, they got a long ways to go to come back from that.
They did what? Oh, yeah, I'm freaking
100%.
Brian Peck. Dude, he got sentenced to 16 months in jail and got ordered to register as a sex offender, of course. But
As
then
he should.
immediately got a job at Disney Channel.
As he shouldn't.
On the
At
sweetest
Disney
life
Channel?
of Zach and Cody.
No.
Yep. And after his conviction, Disney Channel said they let him go, allegedly, and then that his voice and on-screen credits were replaced on 3 episodes.
But it's wild to me that, like, if you went to jail for 16 months and you had to register as a sex offender, then wouldn't Disney do some kind of background check?
Right.
You know what I
then
mean?
You're hired by Disney after that?
Yes, like,
You're going to be working with kids all day.
right.
Like,
Would you at least not check to see if this man is a registered sex offender?
Yeah.
Like, at least, like,
just a regular job does background
It was after
checks.
the
Right.
conviction,
It's
though.
Disney.
So maybe it wasn't on his report.
okay,
But
that would make sense.
I don't
then.
know.
Okay.
I think there was
Still.
like a
They
little
should've-
bit too many.
Things were happening.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't even know if that was like like during this time.
Right.
I
mean-
or if it happened right after the case.
Because if,
Like,
if I'm not mistaken, the first
also,
trial
like,
that happened
wouldn't they
was...
like they would hear that? They would hear that going around the town.
You would think so.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, come on.
Disney is huge.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's like you didn't
They
hear
knew
that
about
through the
this.
grapevine that this
Like-
dude's in court. Come
Right.
on.
For
No, they
something
knew.
that severe, also.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just...
The dude
I have
who
suspicions.
wrote one of his letters got on the job.
That doesn't
Yeah.
shock me.
I was like,
Birds of a feather.
fucking disgusting.
Birds of
Burn!
a feather always
Burn
flock
it all!
together. Fly into an
Drain the
electric
swamp.
wire.
Wow.
I mean, honestly.
And then, like, quiet on set, I mean, they're just as shitty in a way. Like, Raquel Lee, the, like, black girl with the curly hair.
Yes.
Funny. She spoke about her trauma on the documentary, but she was not invited to speak on the discussion panel on, like, episode 5.
Right.
They were like,
Right.
yeah, they never asked her.
That's
I
ridiculous.
was like,
to
so
me.
to take her trauma, use it for your own gain. And then be
Right.
like, okay, well, we're not going to ask you to talk about, what we should do in the future. Bye.
Right, which is strange to me because, all of those kids that came on the first few episodes, like, had their own encounters that were, really messed up. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't allow her to come back,
Yeah.
Right.
on the panel. But,
And they basically, like, tricked her. Like, they only said it before episode 5 came out. They were like, hey, just so you know. I was like, oh, so that's even worse.
so, like, right before the episode was about to film, they were just like,
Or
nope,
they're
sorry.
like, hey, this is actually coming out, and it's without you.
Wow.
Yeah. That's so sad. Because, like, the whole point of the show is to unmask all this shit that's happening.
Unmask, and then a discussion about how to, how do we move forward?
Right.
You don't include someone who's been through it.
'Cause
Right.
At the end of the day, it's still a show that's being aired.
Right.
You know?
And
Right.
what
He's
that
like,
says too is that, oh, well, your trauma is not nearly as bad as everybody else's that we're gonna film, so we're gonna exclude you. Like that does something like horrific to a person,
Yeah.
like mentally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And she
So
Discounting their
I
trauma.
felt for
Right.
her when she was on TikTok talking about it because, like, I could imagine to finally feel like maybe you're being liberated in a
Right.
way, and then all of a sudden the same thing
right,
happens to you. Basically, someone uses you for their own gain and profit and throws you to the curb. I'm like, yeah, I would leave acting too.
right,
Oh, yeah.
Because that's
I mean,
what what are
Right.
you even saying right now? Like,
right. Because at that point, you've been conditioned to believe that like everyone in the acting industry and filming industry is like that and is going to cause you some level of trauma to the extent that you've already been through. Right. So
Yeah.
like you know, and that sucks because like, if that was her dream, like, then, other people ruined it for her, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
That's the shitty part is that other people ruined her dream and it wasn't her fault. You see what I'm saying? Like yeah.
And that's happened with all of those kids.
Yeah.
Like, all of their dreams were ruined by other people
Right.
manipulating them.
Right. And a lot of those
Yeah.
kids didn't even want to get into acting. Like, I don't know about specifically them Quiet on Set, but a lot of those kid actors.
Jeanette McCurdy.
Yeah, they didn't want to get into acting. Jeanette McCurdy, like that shit makes me really sad. Like, especially because of the fact, like, between like her and Ariana Grande, like all that beef with like Sam and Kat and her mom, like, dealing with cancer. That it just goes to show how brutal that industry is. That like, oh well, we don't really care about what's going on in your life, or you just need to read this script right, like so that's like, especially as a child, like that really like fucks with you mentally.
Oh yeah. You're just a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
you should be outside, like building
being a kid,
castles out of dirt, or like having fun with your friends. You know what I mean?
It's too much.
Raven Simone spoke of her time.
Yes.
Of basically feeling like she had the world on her shoulders. Because I was like, I can't imagine. Like, she's like, yeah, I really didn't have any days off. Like, I take a sick day, people lose money. Yeah. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, a lot of people's income's on your back. Like, that's crazy to think about.
Child labor.
Yeah. I was like, what that's
is.
crazy.
It is.
It's like, hey, could you please come in so my kids can eat?
Right. Basically.
Like, what?
Especially with, like, That's So Raven, like, she was the show. Like, you you had Orlando Brown, and I forgot what Chelsea's name was, but,
Annalise Vanderpool.
Yes, Annalise Vanderpool. Sorry.
Hey, Chelsea!
Hey. But she was even on TikTok posting stuff about, like, can't wait to tell you about what happened on Disney after, like, Quiet on Set. And it was, 7 TikToks.
What happened after getting fired again from That's a Raven, like the spinoff. I was like, girl, this is cold. Disney is cold. I don't care.
I stitched you, and you never responded.
Wow.
So
tell us.
Just tell us.
Okay.
What happened?
We just need to know.
Just tell us.
I just want to know.
Just us.
It's just us.
It's just us.
We're just girls.
We'll keep
We're
it
just girls.
We're
At
just
the end of the day.
the end of the day.
We got each other, so
We're just girls.
give us the information.
Give us the tea.
And it's not just like Nickelodeon.
Nope.
It's Disney too.
Yep. Disney is definitely
Jordan Pruitt, best known for her song Jump to the Rhythm that was on like the movie Jump In. In 2019, she had filed a lawsuit against the Nashville producer and her former manager, Keith Thomas, alleging that he had sexually abused her from the time that she was 14 and just emotionally abused her, isolating her from boys her own age, making disparaging comments against her looks and talents. And that went on for years, allegedly. And basically she wasn't protected at all. Like, they were allowed to spend alone time together, which I never understood. Like, why is there not, like, why are the parents, like, pushed away so much? Like, if my child says, oh, I want to sing, okay, well, I'll be in the room with you. Like, I'm going to be there. Because I never understood why, and I know some parents are just overbearing, but there needs to be someone all the time that's like a like a trusted chaperone, female chaperone. Right. Okay, not saying that they don't do that as well. Just saying most of the time it's y'all. But so
most of the time.
Yes. Most of the time.
Yes.
So, like, why is that not a thing?
Right.
Like a legal thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Especially because, like, I can understand the idea of an overbearing parent. Like, your kid is 30 and you're still, like, I need to watch you. Like, sure, understood. Like, that.
Jimmy, let me put on your Bengay.
Jimmy can vote. Like, I think he's okay. Like,
Jimmy can rent.
He probably shouldn't vote. But you know what? Like, he should be fine on his own. But, like, somebody who's 7, like, no, there should be no reason why a 7-year-old is in a room with a strange man. I don't care if that's your employer or not. Like, so yeah, I don't think it's overbearing for a parent to be in a room with a child that is underage, especially if that is like considered work. And especially with all this other stuff that's come out about like acting and music and like that industry in general, like, so I feel like maybe that's like something that a lot of those like, sick people would say, like, oh, well, you don't need to be in the room. Like, that you're just being too overbearing just so, they can get you out of the room for them to do whatever they want to do to your kid. Like, that's like a psychological mind game that they play that way. That's how I feel, at least. Yeah. So they make you think you're being overbearing, but you're actually just protecting your kid.
Yeah. And that's the thing about the whole chaperone thing. Like, they would be the ones hiring that person, right? So, like, even then,
it's be like an outside company. That needs to be like from the government. Be like, hey, watch these babies.
Right.
Watch these babies.
Somebody watch the
Keep an eye on them, please.
Like, what? Animals are safer on set than children.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Right.
Animals are
crazy.
safer.
Right.
That is crazy.
I mean, they should be,
Right.
but like,
They should be, but
The
that they're
kids.
safer?
what about the kids?
Right.
Crazy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which that
Like, I want
speaks
something
a lot
like
of
no
numbers.
children were harmed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That sound. Who was watching them?
Right.
Who was watching
Yeah.
them?
Who's watching the kids? Like
Dan
It's
Schneider.
like when you see a real infant on TV show. Like,
Right.
who baby is this?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Whose white baby is this?
Mary Kate and Ashley.
Like, yeah,
Oh
for
my
real.
God.
That's a whole nother
Yeah.
can of
Yeah, they
worms.
was, yeah.
Those poor kids. Those truly. But,
Yeah.
oh
So.
God. But that's just a part
Yeah.
of 2024.
Right.
That really took over. Like, that really shocked everyone. But
Yeah.
like, there's always been like some sort of suspicion in Hollywood that there's been some things going on. Like, and we'll definitely get to that here in the episode as well. Especially with what we've got, the P. Diddy case, which that's another side of Hollywood that, a lot of people felt shocked about. But again, people knew about what P. Diddy has been up to for
I
years.
always thought
Yeah.
he looked weird. I feel like I got a sixth sense for that.
I believe
Because
it.
I looked at R. Kelly when I was young, and I looked back at my mama and I said, he weird.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, okay.
The I Believe I Can Fly guy? Like,
Yeah, like,
yes,
What?
100%.
that guy?
Ignition.
You mean the guy who was trapped in a closet? He's weird?
You
Really?
mean he cried
Yes.
on camera
Yes,
and then
I-
got convicted?
He looked weird to me.
Whoa.
Something about him, like those low set eyes. They're like predator eyes to me or something.
Oh.
I
You know
swear that's
what
a
I'm
thing.
talking about.
That's a real thing.
That's
Like, it's
spooky.
like a science
it's
behind
almost like a dead expression. It's like,
yes,
ugh.
the eyes are dead. Exactly. And you know
Yeah.
what? That's how my mom and my auntie felt about like P. Diddy. They were just like, they don't mess with him. Like, because
Yeah.
I listened to like Tupac growing up and I listened to Biggie growing up. And like my auntie was like, I do not like P. Diddy. And I never knew why, because I never really researched him like that until like all this stuff
He's a
started coming out.
leech. He doesn't have
Yeah.
any talents.
Yeah. And you know what? That's something I did notice. Like when I was a kid and I would watch like Biggie's music videos, like I'm like, what's P. Diddy doing here? Like what even is he doing here? Like he's not adding anything really to the,
Maybe a few
the art.
catchy lines, but he knows how to exploit the right
Right.
people.
Right.
He just takes them for everything they have. And
Right.
they say that Biggie was trying to leave
He was.
Bad Boy Records before he was murdered.
He was.
So I'm not saying anything.
There
I'm saying a lot.
There is a story, actually, and I believe it was this girl on TikTok. She was talking about her dad's experience because her dad was in that scene, like back when Biggie was around. And she said that they were at a party, and like her dad remembers overhearing Biggie, like he was on crutches at the time, saying that he was planning on leaving Bad Boy Records because he wasn't getting paid enough. He realized they were like embezzling money or they were taking money from him. And then 3 days later, he's gone. Like, so to me, I don't believe in coincidences. I've never believed in coincidences. So I feel like, yes, that he probably had something to do with it, because who has the rights to Biggie's music now? P. Diddy.
And then comes out of nowhere.
Yes.
Like, what? I'll be missing you. Like
Yes.
that? Could you imagine murdering your friend, allegedly, and
Allegedly.
then coming out with
Yeah,
a
say
hit
that.
song, grieving about it?
Right.
Psycho.
That is diabolical. That is
Yeah.
diabolical to sit here and allegedly have something to do with your friend's passing, and then you write a song called I'll Be Missing You.
Yeah.
And it's actually funny, believe it or not, I'll Be Missing You was a track that Sting from the Police actually like almost went to court with P. Diddy over, because
Oh, he went to court.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm
Every
not
time.
mistaken, it was some crazy amount of money that P. Diddy has to pay Sting.
Yeah.
Like for
Every
every time he uses that
Wow.
song. It's like $5,000 every time you use that song. You have to pay me. Like, and
Wow.
honestly, good
Just
for you,
why
Sting.
would you just
Yes.
not go through the proper channels to use the sample?
Right.
Like,
Like P. Diddy was a producer. Like, he should know this. You know what I mean? He should
He's a
know that you have to
leech.
go get the legal rights to use someone else's song. Like, no matter what genre it is. Like, yes, like with hip hop and rap and like things of that nature, you do use like sample art. You use sample music, and a lot of that music comes from other artists. So you have to get the rights to use that song before you put it out. And P. Diddy didn't do that. So now he has to pay Sting $5,000 every time he uses that song.
I need like everyone to come out being like surviving
Right.
P. Diddy.
Right.
Cassie.
Cassie
yeah.
and
I
Ventura
think
is
they're
such
in
a
the
sad
works for
story.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
P. Diddy was, the premise of Kim Porter's book. And then all of a sudden she ended up passing away. Cassie Ventura, she dated P. Diddy for like 10 years. Or
long
something
time.
like a really long time.
long
And
time.
she came out recently last year about all the abuse that she endured while dating him. And it was on the hotel camera footage that, he was basically like kicking her around and shit. And,
Wow.
if I'm not mistaken, he never got, penalized for that. He never got,
They settled in court, but I wish she would have just gone all the way with it. I know, like, she was probably just like, let me just, get some, like, reparations for this, because, like, this is dramatic. But also, I just wish she just, like, followed through with it, because there's going to be, like, so much stuff that she knows. Like, so much. And I know that he blew up Kid Cudi's car.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
When Cassie and Kid Cudi were dating. So I would be afraid of this man too. It'd be like, let me just get my paper and go.
That's probably
she
why
got
she
two
did.
babies. So I was like, I would. Kim Porter is, has passed away. They said she was murdered allegedly. So like, I wouldn't want to say anything either.
Right.
No.
And again, I don't believe in coincidences. You can't tell me that Kim Porter was writing a book about all the things that P. Diddy did to her, and then she mysteriously ends up
Right.
gone.
From pneumonia?
From pneumonia
Very
or some
strange.
really strange, something that like typically doesn't make you pass away. You can survive from pneumonia. You know what I mean? Like that's what's really strange to me.
Yeah.
So
That's weird. How old was she? Do we know?
Oh, she had to be like 40, 50s.
yeah,
Not
she
that
wasn't old.
Not old enough to be passing away. Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Some things there. with
Yeah.
that.
But it's not uncommon in Hollywood, and it's not uncommon in the music industry for like strange things to happen to people that speak out.
I will never look at baby oil ever again.
Honestly,
In the same way.
and you know what?
I've had the same bottle of baby oil for like 3 years. This dude had like what, a thousand?
A
What
thousand.
did that end up being? I forget.
It was like
Like-
GHB, ketamine, and some
Yeah.
other, substance that they found.
Something to
In
knock
the
a
house.
bitch.
And that was
out.
to like basically date rape.
Basically
Yeah.
roofies. Like basically
Yeah.
roofie drugs. Like that's all it was.
Dude.
And they found like so much of it in this man's house. Like when Homeland Security raided his house, they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil, all these substances. I mean, and just there's no absolute reason. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think all the bottles of baby oil had baby oil in it. I think it was some like not chloroform, but it was some other substance that was basically kind of like a roofie, like essentially.
Yeah, because like, why would you have so many bottles of baby oil? Like,
Right.
there's so many
Right.
baby
There's
oil in that.
No
Why
reason.
use baby
There's not enough
oil?
babies in the world.
There's
Right.
No.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, and from what I understand, recently, as just far as like recent news, there was a assault charge case against him and Jay-Z that just got dropped yesterday. Like it just got
Really?
dismissed out of court. Yeah. But P. Diddy's trial is set for May 5th of this year. So he got arrested in October of 2024, and they're setting the trial for May 5th of this year. So that
Everyone knew. Like, you all knew.
Tupac
They keep
knew.
making jokes like, oh, I left early. I was like, that's gross.
right. And like all these people who went to Diddy parties,
Yeah.
like Jennifer Lopez and
Like, y'all didn't just get
Will
together
Smith,
and be like, hey, that dude's weird.
Kanye.
Let's not go.
right. And all of these survivor stories of people who were like, yes, I was at those parties
like-
and I was basically like
Yes.
put on a table for people to come and do horrible things to me.
Oh, the little people.
Yes.
Little person. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But yes, the little people were walking around apparently with like food trays on their heads. I was
Yes.
like, what?
Yes. Some
Weird.
really sadistic shit. Like there's
Yeah.
so many horrific accounts of like, and it was not just like a few people. This was like
A
by
lot.
the hundreds. There was hundreds of people who came forward with their own accounts of the things that they either witnessed at the Diddy parties or the things that he personally did to them or his entourage did to them.
What I never understood is that if everyone knows that this person is doing something, it's like 100 of y'all against one.
Yeah.
Why did it take so
But there's
long?
also
You
a lot
all
of people
knew?
backing him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Just be like, hey,
like powerful people,
Right.
not just little shrimpy people. Like,
And fear in
King
and of
James.
itself is very powerful.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
if he's killing people,
right.
I'd be scared too. Like, am I gonna get shot?
Right.
I've got a family.
And
Yeah.
again, he's been doing this for a very long time. This
Yeah.
wasn't something that happened in 2010. It's just coming out.
Oh,
Tupac
yeah.
was talking about don't trust P. Diddy. Like, don't trust anybody that affiliates with him. Like, and lo and behold, he got shot too. So,
I wonder if, like, Biggie didn't trust him either. Even before his death, he was like, oh, they coming for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, bro, like, what,
Well-
who? Biggie, tell us.
Tupac passed away in September of 96. And Biggie died in March of 97. And after Tupac passed away, there is an interview of Biggie sitting there saying, like, you know, I didn't have anything to do with it. Like, but, you know, he had his suspicions of who, but he was like, you know, kind of like, I mean, I remember watching that interview a few years ago and I was just like, he kind of looks scared. Like, he looks kind of scared to, like, talk about, like, who he thinks it was. But, like, now everything's coming out and people are having their own accounts of what happened around that
Didn't they
time.
say that,
And the
like,
things
oh,
that
they
he
thought
said.
it was Suge Knight at first. I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
Suge
about that.
Knight's kind of a piece of shit too, but you know, like,
he's really horrible.
he's kind of a bad guy.
But
like,
do we think that bad guy did it?
Yeah. Like,
Maybe he had a hand in it, but I don't think he was a mastermind.
I don't think so. No, I mean they recently discovered who, like, you know,
Yeah.
actually shot Tupac too. Keefy D, I believe, was his name. And they raided his house and found all this stuff in his garage or basement.
Does
or
he just
whatever
keep
it was.
memorabilia from
Yes,
it?
he did. Yes, he did.
This is the
What?
time
He
I
really
shot Tupac.
Yeah, he had like all
He's
these.
probably proud of it.
Yeah, he had like all this evidence. I don't know exactly what the evidence was, but like I read somewhere that he had like newspaper clippings of like Tupac's death and like, you know, all this
Wow.
evidence
He
to
is
claim
like
that he
the
didn't.
embodiment of that emoji that's going like, like that, like,
Yes.
yeah, I did it.
Right.
I'm like, what?
You
It's
got
just-
a fedora on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody get this man a
I'm a
fedora.
motivator,
Like,
actually.
Not to brag.
I have a special set of skills. So, horrible.
just a horrible person.
Crazy.
But yeah, no. So that's. I mean, I'll personally be watching. I'll be watching that trial because I'm like, it's not just all these people coming out that, you know, have their horrible encounters with P. Diddy, but it's people that are also either too scared to say anything or people who are not with us anymore.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, I'll definitely be waiting, but it did surprise me that the assault charge that was charged against him and Jay-Z got dropped. I haven't looked too far into it, but I just read about it earlier today. I was like, oh, that got dropped. Well, this doesn't look good for P. Diddy's case. Like,
Like, Jay-Z saw that. He's like, actually,
oh, Jay-Z was happy.
the fuck?
He was
He
happy.
like that post. I was like, damn, I can kind of feel the rage behind this. He's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually gonna show you that I don't do that shit. So I was
Right.
like,
Can we get
okay,
some
well, then.
context for this
There-
event?
There was a lawsuit brought against him and P. Diddy. Apparently, like, Jay-Z is a part of this, like, rape scenario. And he's like, I have to explain this to my daughter now. My daughter's gonna have to explain this to her friend. I was like, y'all keep playing with me. Basically, this is what he said. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna show you I'm not a fucking punk.
Right.
And I don't know what he did behind the scenes.
Right.
It's dropped. I don't know. Because,
Right.
like, I can imagine, like, we gotta think about the other side of, like, you know, for people who didn't do it. You
Right.
know, like,
Right, who people who were just
who
there.
didn't do it and who were accused. It was like, thanks. So, like, what do you do? I don't think I would be like vengeful. I'd be like, who is this person? Like who's
Right.
saying this about me? Because like I mean, if your whole platform is you know, being famous and stuff, and people are saying that about you, like, I just think like my whole career is over, and like and
Yeah.
it didn't happen. And if it didn't happen, I would be rageful too. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I
I
am
would crash
going
Oh, I'd be mad.
I'd crash out.
I'm becoming like the Daredevil or something. I'm
Right.
making my own like Batmobile.
Right. I would simply crash
She's
the
the
fuck out.
goblin.
I'm developing a mental illness because
Right.
what?
Right. But that's, you're right. Like, to think about the other side of that. Like, if he didn't have anything to do with it,
Right.
and he's being accused of this horrible, heinous thing, like, that's the thing about like like us as a society. Like, as soon as you accuse somebody of something, that's the picture you paint of them from now on.
Exactly.
There is no going back. And so, you know, if he really didn't have anything to do with
Yeah.
it, I would understand that rage.
Yeah.
I would understand, like, oh my God, like, I'm being painted as this horrible person, and I know what happened, but the whole world thinks they do.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a real, I don't wish that upon anybody except my very worst enemy. But like like Jay-Z's not my worst enemy. So I mean, you know, I definitely understand like where that anger comes from, because like I wouldn't want to be accused of something I didn't fucking do. Like, and
something
that's
that bad too.
right. Like, that's something very heinous, like, you know, law and order type of shit. So like, I don't blame him. P. Diddy definitely did that shit. Like, I can tell you right now, that man for sure did
He
that.
would fuck
like,
a tree. He a weirdo.
Right. Right.
He a freak.
He a freak.
Right. And I mean, just the amount of people who came forward and they were just like, yeah, we were paid with hush money. Like,
Yeah.
we were told if we said anything, bad things would happen to our families and our loved ones. Like, you know, so.
I would believe him.
Yeah. Exactly.
I would believe him.
Yeah. Because, like, first of all, this man has money. And anybody who has money is eventually going to succumb to the power. Like, and having money and power can make you do some evil shit. Like, and that's like two things that should never go together, but always do go together, is money and power. And if you have the money to be able to, you know, exert your will however you please, I would certainly believe that you would do something to harm my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I
if you're
came
mentally unstable.
right, exactly. And that man is not well. That man has not been well for a very long time. Like, even if you look at old interviews of P. Diddy, like, talking about, like, just even the most meaningless things, like, you can see it, like, in his eyes, like you were saying earlier about the dead eyes.
Dead eyes.
He has dead
He
eyes.
couldn't
Like,
close his mouth for years.
no, he couldn't. Family Guy made fun of him.
So like with the dead eyes and the open mouth is like
Ew, why is his mouth open?
he had I think he had just like an overbite. It's just really
Oh.
bad.
My bad. Well, I don't care.
Shout out to
I
the
don't care.
overbites.
I'm like, ooh, sorry, wait. I'm not sorry.
It's okay. It's P. Diddy. Like, it's fine.
I'm
Like,
I'm not sorry.
any normal person who doesn't have 1,000 bottles of baby oil and Rohypnol in their
Yeah.
fucking closet, like, it, yeah. But
Yeah.
P. Diddy, no, it's fair game.
Yeah, I don't
Fair game.
care.
But
Fuck that guy.
yeah, that's not the only thing that like happened as far as, you know, pop culture and news and things of that nature. Dave Grohl cheated on his
Oh
wife.
my god!
Dave Grohl had a baby out of wedlock
That?
with his wife.
I think that was
Not with his wife.
I think that was the most shocking one.
It's crazy because
What?
everybody sat here and was like, Dave Grohl is the nice guy of rock and roll,
Yeah,
and
like-
he's so cool. Then he goes and has a baby out of wedlock.
He was on your list of people going to heaven.
And no, and I had to recant that.
On
I had
TikTok.
to
He's
recant
going
that.
to hell.
Dave Grohl is the reason why I don't do the Spot in Heaven series anymore, because I was like, I talked this man up and I was like, he's such a nice guy. He's donated to these charities. And then here he goes cheating on his wife, having a baby out of wedlock.
Why are
Like-
we?
And he's
why are we,
posting
like-
it.
And he's
on
posting it.
Instagram.
My thing is like, why are we like coming in the side chicks? What's going on?
I don't understand.
You're so reckless. You are reckless, sir.
I know. Well, I mean, not to mention he has a family. He has daughters. Like, and like,
Do it in the butt like a normal.
Yeah,
person.
I was gonna like. Here's the thing: like, if you are that famous with that many people following you, you would think, "Oh, I'm gonna be like really careful,
really
to
careful.
not get this
You would
random
think
person
so.
pregnant."
Yeah.
you would think so, but
It's easy. Just wear a condom and like pull out, dude.
like,
I mean, don't do it.
like,
Like,
yeah,
don't do it at
it.
all. But if you're going to, why are you
Don't
not being
impregnate
so
someone.
like secretive?
Right.
You're Dave Grohl.
Right.
He's like
like
14
it.
You are
ways
the-
of protection.
You
I'm-
are the
Yeah, like-
Foo Fighter, like
For
the
no.
Foo Fighters.
Fighter.
I'm
Foo
only gonna
Fighters.
like like speak to her like through like I don't know owl like just-
right,
bro.
something.
Like what are you doing?
Use a lot of like 15 ways of protection, dude. Like
You're crazy.
Yeah.
don't do it
I just-
anyway. But like, what are you doing?
And I mean,
Yeah.
it really like hurt his family like severely.
His
Like,
daughter, I think she did she delete the whole Instagram?
She
Yes,
deleted her
it's
Instagram
gone.
and
I
everything.
think.
Well, because people
Maybe.
were bullying her. Like, people were like going in her comments like, "Ha, your dad," and that's like not even her
sad.
fault. Like, she didn't do
Also,
that.
he didn't
Like,
need to do that. I wonder if he was made to do that by his wife, or maybe the baby mama was like, "If you don't say something, I will."
who knows? Honestly, I'm not totally sure what all
I don't know, because
conspired.
it's like, that's embarrassing.
Because he made an Instagram post about
He
it.
did.
Like,
That's
he,
how we all knew.
yeah,
He
that's
was
how we
like,
all
I'm
found
gonna
out.
take care of this baby and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Like, I'm ashamed of my actions and all that shit.
He's
but,
like, I hope to
He's so
regain
sad.
her trust and raise his child. Fuck you.
Right,
I hope she leaves
uh-uh.
your ass. I think she
Right.
already did.
I
But
think so, yeah. I think so.
Damn.
But yeah, I agree. Like, no, there's no like regaining trust after cheating. Like,
It's
that is like
broken.
the number one thing in a relationship you do not do is cheat. And I don't
Yeah.
care what excuse you got. I don't care if you fell on her fucking vagina and it slipped right in. Like, that's still cheating. You knew what you were
and
doing.
now there's like,
And that's that.
you can't
Yeah.
even, I wouldn't be able to move past it. There's a baby.
There's
Right.
evidence.
physical
There's
being
physical
Yes.
of what
evidence
like,
of
remnants
you
of what
being an
happened.
asshole to me.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
No.
And it's a
Yeah.
sad thing because it's not even that baby's fault. Like, that baby
Yeah.
did nothing wrong.
Shout
Like,
out to the baby.
honestly, shout out to the baby.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that
Yeah.
baby didn't want to be
Yeah,
here.
baby cool.
None of us
I'm
wanted
cool
to
with the baby.
Right.
Poor
Like, none of us wanted to
baby.
be here. Like, that baby didn't want to be here.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
nobody asked to be here.
Yo, daddy,
Right.
he a dumbass.
Yeah.
So,
Your dad,
so
you know,
sorry.
he's a singer for Foo Fighters and he done
he
cheated
was a
on his wife.
pretender. He definitely was
He
a
definitely was a
There
pretender.
goes my hero.
pretender.
Watch your messy
He
comes.
comes.
I'm so
Another
done.
women.
And there it
Literally.
goes.
There goes
Goodbye,
wife.
Dave.
There you go.
Goodbye,
But the
Dave.
worst part about that is the fact that fans were so pissed off about the fact that he cheated on his wife was somebody set Kurt Cobain's memorial bench on fire.
Oh,
In Aberdeen.
Wow.
They like, because there's a bench like real close to where, you know, Kurt and Courtney had their first home, and people would lay flowers on it because it was said that he would go out to that bench and he would write songs and sit there and just, you know, be Kurt Cobain. And somebody set it on fire because they were so upset about what Dave Grohl did. What did Kurt do?
What did Kurt do?
Like, exactly. What did Kurt? He's been
He
gone.
literally cannot do anything.
Right.
Dead.
Like, it's crazy because people use that as some kind of like leverage in the conversation. Like, oh, Kurt Cobain would be so mad if you did that. He's been dead for
He's
30
dead.
years. Like, the man, let him rest. Like, you know, and
Don't involve him.
Yeah,
Right.
like, come
He's in
on.
the
this
grave.
has
Leave
nothing.
my man alone.
This has nothing to do with Kurt. This has everything to do with Dave. Like, you know,
Leave him and his silk press alone.
yeah, for real, his beautiful hair.
Sick of it.
Yeah.
That man. But yeah, that it goes to show how crazy like people, how the far lengths people will go out of anger.
that's-
It's a parasocial
Yes.
relationship.
It really
They
is.
just develop it so strong, and that's just crazy to me. Like so strong with someone who has passed on.
Yes.
Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
probably
For a long time.
who probably
Right.
wasn't even alive when they were born.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's parasocial relationships is one hell of a drug. It really is. Like, these people go crazy over people that they've never met in their entire life, that don't even know they exist. Like, that's the craziest part about a parasocial relationship is that it's all one-sided. Like, the other party doesn't even know that you exist. That's the saddest part.
Yeah, but I truly believe that Megan the Stallion will answer me one day. So
You hear that, Meg?
please.
Please, God.
Answer her DMs.
Please come on the podcast. Like,
Also, Hillary Duff.
oh, Hillary. We love
Mommy.
you. We love you, Hill. We love you.
Great.
Yeah. That's one child star I would love to hear about.
I
Like,
would-
how did your mom? Like, I feel like she was safe
I
the
feel
whole
like
time. Was she safe?
She was safe.
Are you safe?
she was definitely unproblematic. Like, correct me if
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
wrong. I've never heard anything bad about
Yeah.
Hillary
No.
Duff.
Nothing.
Like,
No.
nothing.
Nothing.
She's still around and
Yeah, she's got like 3 babies
She's
with
doing
Matthew
stuff.
Coma,
Yeah,
little singer. She's living the life.
she's chilling.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good
I
for
haven't
her.
heard
Yeah.
anything either about her.
Good for
I
her.
always liked her, Lizzie McGuire.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. I loved Lizzie McGuire. Oh, I loved her. I loved her. I always wanted a little cartoon version of me to
Oh my
narrate
God.
my life. Like,
And I love that outfit, but I don't know
Oh.
why. It was just like a pink tank top and
I
jeans.
feel
platform
platform
sandals.
sandals.
I know everyone was making jokes about and still making jokes about her little dance break for the Strangers song.
Leave that poor girl
But
alone. Like,
that that song, like, a lot of her discography eats.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
can we, like, give her flowers?
You
like,
know what?
Fly, Stranger,
Yes.
With Love,
Oh.
So Yesterday.
So
Why not? Like, oh, it keeps
Yesterday.
going on. Mama
Girl.
had hits after hits.
She
And I
really
think
did.
people forget about that. Like, Hillary had the girls
She really did.
Oh, she
in the
had
back. Like, she
really
was
did.
not playing with y'all.
No, she was not. She
Before
was
Miley, there was Hillary.
truly like
Yeah.
a prime, like she was a prime
Yeah.
artist in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like when you like, if you think about like So Yesterday, that will take you right back to 2004.
Yep.
Like if you listen to that song, I'm right back in like fourth grade. Like
It, like, feels so good.
it does.
Oh,
It
Come
does.
Clean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, the amount of times I would like fake put on makeup to like come clean, and I'm just like, one day I'm gonna be a teenager.
One day I'm going to run the rain to a boy.
One day I'll have my own makeup.
And I'm such a
We
fruit.
all were like
I
that.
like saw her in that music video. I was like, oh my god,
Ah,
she's hot.
beautiful.
Am I
Unproblematic.
bisexual? Yes.
Well, no, my awakening was like the Mummy movie.
The Mummy movie?
Wait,
Yeah,
not,
with Brendan Fraser and that nice
yeah,
lady. I can't remember her name. I was like, whoa.
So-
And then when she was fighting old girl, when they were like in the past as the Egyptians, I was like, yeah, I like this. This is pretty nice.
I
The
think I
guys
like
covered in
those.
gold
I
and
love it.
shivering.
I love it.
I
With
like
the
boys
knives.
and girls.
Boys and girls.
Boys
Yes.
and girls are my favorite. Yeah. I love that though.
Yeah, 2024 was crazy.
2024 was a lot happened.
A lot really did.
Yes, Liam Payne died
He
last
did.
year. So if anyone wasn't aware of that, which that would be nuts, but this is what happened. So he died after falling from the third floor balcony of a hotel in Buenos Aires in October of last year. He was 31. He sustained multiple injuries and died from internal and external bleeding.
Damn.
So, yikes.
That's really sad.
Yeah, really sad. So he died from multiple traumatic injuries, including brain and skull injuries, had internal, external bleeding in skull, chest, abdomen, and limbs,
This was all from falling?
from falling.
Yeah, because it was like a 3-story building. Then.
Yeah, I think he was on the third floor.
God.
Yeah, he had defensive wounds on his hands. He had cocaine, alcohol, and a prescription antidepressant in his system. So forensic experts found no signs of self-harm or involvement by another person. They concluded that Payne was unconscious or semi-conscious when he fell, and they ruled out a conscious or voluntary act. So a judge concluded that Payne tried to leave the room through the balcony, which is like, what? Yeah. So
Wasn't somebody with him whenever he
his
did fall?
girlfriend, I think. Yeah, his girlfriend was with him.
I think she was gone. No, he
Was-
was there alone.
was he by himself?
He was by himself because she had left.
So
And I think he was
Okay.
like, I think they were very toxic or like on and off again.
Yeah.
And she had left the couple days before, day before.
That makes
And I think he
sense.
just raged
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I think he was not well that night, obviously, because people saw him in the lobby just acting kind of weird and just like outlandish, but nobody really did anything. The hotel receptionist called 911 to report that he was intoxicated and acting erratically. And it says the receptionist said they were afraid he could do something that would put his life at risk. So
Yeah.
This is before
They
he
kinda
fell.
knew.
When did they show up?
Yeah, and
Right.
nobody went to check on
nobody
him.
like, yeah, I mean, it was too late at that time.
That's the saddest part too, is that
Yeah.
like people will see the signs and they'll acknowledge
yeah.
the signs and they do nothing.
Yeah.
It sounds like one person did something.
Yeah,
I mean, but like, damn, where was that? Where were the
Right.
police?
Right,
Yeah,
right,
right,
The
like-
police just were like,
It's
late.
all
I
right.
don't know. Yeah.
Liam Payne.
God.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then TMZ releasing footage of like his body
Mhm.
was so
Oh.
distasteful to me.
Yeah, that
like,
was-
that was
that
so
was a lot.
distasteful.
What?
Like I get that you're tabloids and whatever, or that's your whole shtick, but like there's certain things you don't
Yeah, don't show that.
put up because like What if his family saw that? Like, I
Right.
wouldn't want to
Yeah.
see the
Or
body
didn't
of
even
my
know
loved
that
one.
he had
Yeah,
died.
even, like,
right.
that's
Random people
Right.
shouldn't see that.
Right.
Like,
And that was like a
Yeah.
whole thing. Like, everybody was like, oh my God, like, TMZ released the footage of Liam
Mhm.
Payne's body. Like, they probably shouldn't. Like, maybe they should
No.
not do that. Like,
Maybe
at
they
all.
Also,
shouldn't.
I don't want to. Who wants to see that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Who
that's
wants to see that?
Yeah, I'm like, nobody wants to see a dead body. Like, I
Right.
mean, unless you're insane.
right.
Or weird.
Unless you're Brian Peck and you work with John Wayne Gacy, I guess. But
Yeah.
Okay, however, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I feel like, not a good amount of time has passed because I definitely did look up John F. Kennedy's body when I was a kid because I just wanted to see.
But you were a kid. Like,
I
I feel like
see.
everybody goes through like a curious period. But if
Right.
you're like
You're like,
a
what
32-year-old
do brains
adult,
look like? Anything in black and white, I'm just like, I'm thinking it's not real.
right? Yeah,
That never happened.
right.
Right.
No,
Most
no, no.
times.
That was
It's
before
AI.
me, so
Yeah.
it
It's
didn't
AI.
happen. Yeah.
But I mean, everybody has that curiosity as a kid, though. Like, sure, like.
But
it's-
TMZ.
But TMZ, y'all are grown folks. Y'all are grown
Is it still
people.
on the internet?
No,
What?
they,
Okay,
No,
I was like,
I
I
hope
should
it's
know
not.
this.
I think they took it
Okay.
down because it was just so messed up that they had
Yeah.
like put it up in the first place. Like,
Right.
it's just people were pissed. Like, people were mad that like they had
yeah.
even, and rightfully so. Like, you should be mad because like I don't know if Liam Payne's grandma's still around, but maybe she saw that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't want to be traumatized in
Yeah,
that way.
Barbara,
I'm
just-
already traumatized. I just lost a family
open
member.
up
No.
the
What?
dial up and you see what? That's crazy.
Right. So,
No.
rest in peace for real, because
Yeah.
that's really sad. And he was
Yeah.
so young. I mean, 31 is
He
really young.
was.
So,
31 is really. He
Yeah.
has a son.
yeah. Well, I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure if he does.
He has a child.
I think so.
He has a child with
think so.
Cheryl, not Lloyd. It's the other girl. I think that's her name.
I don't know.
But he does have a child. I know this for a fact.
Yeah.
Because him
Yeah,
and
I
Louis
think-
have children.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do remember that
Yep.
being a thing.
That
No, but
sucks.
he didn't have the best reputation. He would go to like Niall and Harry shows and be like, and like video and have like people come up and he would sign their stuff and whatever. And he also had a bad reputation because of his ex-girlfriend. She said that he threatened suicide as a manipulative tactic.
This was
Yikes.
this is the ex-girlfriend that left the day before, right?
I think so.
think
Because that
so.
would make sense. Like, why is she like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fucking leave? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
you do this all the time.
And she
Right.
had to get a cease and desist letter after he wouldn't stop contacting her through her iCloud accounts.
Ooh,
Dang.
yikes.
Like, you're going through the iCloud.
Yikes.
Like that's like desperation.
Yeah.
Not good.
But even, especially like when you're not in a good mental state anyway, like you'll do anything to
Oh,
like
yeah,
find that
anyway.
solace, And I'm not
Yes.
saying that it's right,
Mm.
but like, if you're already like in the gutter, like you're fucking at rock bottom, like
Mhm.
you're gonna act out in desperation,
Mhm.
especially even if, no matter like how, correct it is or not, and I'm not
Right.
saying that it is.
Right.
But, given his mental state, like I
Yeah.
could sort of
No,
understand.
that sucks. I feel like he was the
Yeah.
troubled member of that boy band.
Yeah.
Really, I can't think of anybody else who like had
Yeah,
problems
Well,
Right.
in the public
yeah.
eye.
Oh yeah, no. You're
Yeah.
right. I was like, wait, no. You're
Like
right.
they all have, everybody has like, something going on,
But
never to that
he's
extent.
always been like not really the favorite. Always got like kind of in like little tiffs with the other band members.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just sucks. Like I just feel like I don't know, issues always follow
Yeah.
that
He's
person.
been
and
dealing
now
with it
he's-
for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing, going back to the ex that he did, he allegedly coerced her into receiving an at-home abortion, and he was discouraged by his team to get medical treatment for hemorrhaging for fear of being spotted in public.
What?
Yeah. So I read that and I was like, not good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, not good. So, and I didn't even know about that part because I heard about him doing some weird stuff with the ex, but yeah, it was bad.
But it also just goes to show how, infiltrative, Hollywood tabloids are.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not saying like what he did was correct or okay. Like, obviously, if you're hemorrhaging from an abortion, you should go get medical help, like 100%.
Yeah.
But like, in the perspective of like maybe a celebrity who doesn't want to be like photographed or anything, like,
Yeah, that's
you know,
hard.
you don't do what's right for you because you don't want what's going to happen to happen. You know, and you're gonna have people sitting outside your house with cameras, like,
Right.
oh, look at her bleeding, like, you know what I mean, like, and people do that. It's unfortunate to say, but people do thrive off of that. It's their bread and butter to thrive off of other people's suffering, especially if they have some level of fame.
Oh yeah,
So-
and he's not just some little famous, like, he is famous.
Yeah,
Right.
Liam
Everyone
Payne from
knows
One
who that
Direction.
is.
So you know it's gonna go
Yes.
viral.
And
Like,
One Direction
yeah.
hasn't even been One Direction in years, and they're still like, oh yeah, One Direction.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, they were huge. They were huge at one point in time.
Yeah.
Like, so it makes sense. Even if you're, I mean, they're much older now. They're not little boys in a boy band anymore. So
That's
like,
a 5 seconds of summer. Gonna get a bus fun.
5 sauce.
I'm sorry. 5 sauce.
5 sauce.
5
love them.
Really,
Alicia.
I was an NLT kid. That very obscure band that didn't even make it to the hits, but not like them. And that was their acronym. Had Travis Garland, Kevin McHale, JJ Thornton. Oh, I know all these people. Somebody
know.
else.
That's funny.
Somebody else. It was so good. And Kevin McHale is he was Artie in Glee. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He got the job after
Okay.
it seemed like after the boy band disbanded. But yeah, Travis Garland still makes music
I didn't know
and
that.
it rocks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't know
so-
that. I don't think I ever heard of Not
I was
Like
like a kid into like all the just bands that no one knows.
That. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of like,
Like the obscure.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the
Cool,
obscure.
like the obscure.
Yeah, it was never One Direction or all that, but
Me
I
neither.
like some underground boy bands, like their performance, like those YouTube videos. Like, everything's grainy,
I
and I was
know.
like, oh my
Yes.
god, there's
It's
my
like,
fave,
this is a bop. Like,
and I can kind of make them out through these
This is my
pixels.
fave. I love it. Oh my
So,
god. Like those
funny.
2007 lyric videos on YouTube. Like,
Yes.
oh my God. I used
Yes.
to binge those all the
Oh my!
time.
Did you guys ever
Oh
watch
my
those like
gosh.
music videos that people made, but it's with Sims?
Yes. I do.
What?
Oh
Yes!
my
Dude,
god.
I wasn't a Sims girl.
I love
Yeah,
wish I was.
like I
Oh my
loved all
God.
the Sims soap operas,
Oh,
music videos.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
I
some
remember
lore.
yeah, it's a lot of.
There's a compilation video. It's like Naruto characters made
Uh-huh.
into Sims, and it's just a bunch of like songs all compilated into like just these Sims doing crazy things. And I used to religiously watch it. And like looking back at it now, I'm just like, why did I watch this? Like,
Yeah, right. I look at it now. I was like, oh my god, this is really like weird.
I'm
and
like, what the
cringy.
hell? Like, I mean, I'd still watch it, but not to the extent that I did when I was like 14. I was
Yeah.
like religiously
Mhm.
watching it, and then I look back at it because I looked on YouTube one day. I was like, oh my god, Naruto Sims on crack! Like, this is great, and that's the title of it. Like, that's actually the title of the YouTube video. And then I watched it again, and I was just like, it's not hitting the same. Like, I don't know what changed. I guess I just got older
guess
and I
you
had
just
to do
grew
taxes.
up.
Like,
Yeah.
something changed.
I have one more thing to say about Liam and his death. So we were talking about Diddy earlier.
Oh,
So there are conspiracies that his death is linked to Diddy. Because apparently there's a video of Liam Payne in 2017. And he says, I went over to speak to him, Diddy, and Jay-Z. And as I shook his hand, he just chuckled. The most evil laugh I've ever heard. So I'm a little bit fearful of that man.
Interesting.
That was a tweet?
Yeah. It was like a quote from a video
I wonder.
in 2017 that he said about Diddy.
Did they ever collaborate on anything? Like
I don't
Liam Payne?
think
I
so.
think no. I think
so
they just
either.
met at something. I don't know.
Because I was gonna say, like, you know, I know like with P Diddy and Justin Bieber, like,
Oh my god,
that's a
I've
whole
seen
nother
way
episode.
too many videos
Yeah.
with that boy being like, "Yeah, we're gonna get some girls."
I know. Or Justin
These
Bieber's
girls.
like P Diddy's
What?
mad.
He didn't literally look like disappointed.
I know. He's like,
He's like,
Yeah,
I'm 13.
right. And just like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to kids my own age.
right. Like, oh my
Other
god.
13-year-olds.
I remember to Justin.
And you know what? I remember seeing that video when I was younger too, because it was when YouTube first started getting really big, and I was like, even then, that was strange. Like, I was just like, isn't Justin Bieber like 15?
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Are you, what is he?
P. Diddy's like 38
Is-
in that
I was like,
video
is
or something.
Did he babysitting? What's
Yeah.
happening?
And he was like, Justin Bieber's mine for the next 48 hours.
yeah, I was
And,
like, what would you mean mine?
Oh,
What
I
do you-
saw that.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
yours?
Yeah.
What do you mean yours?
What do you mean? Where's
his mom?
Where's his mom? Like,
Oh, where's
Just
his
Mrs.
mom?
Bieber.
Yeah, it's like,
Mrs. Bieber.
yeah, like, so.
That's weird.
Yeah, and you're right. Like, whenever, like, Justin Bieber was just like, we're going to go get some girls.
Girls.
Like, the look
Yeah.
on his
Yeah,
face.
then he looked at him like,
Yeah, I feel like
yeah.
Justin Bieber has some things that he's keeping in.
But it makes me wonder, like, does Liam Payne also have some sort of correlation to him like that? That maybe wasn't put on
I
YouTube
mean,
for everybody
That's
to
a
see?
conspiracy.
Is it?
Mhm.
We'll never know because he's
He's
dead.
dead.
Yeah.
Another person.
Another person, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like probably all those boys, like, from One Direction, I think they were all together when P. Diddy was around during that interaction, so it's like, maybe they had
Oh.
something to say.
It's
too.
possible. I mean, they all kind of came up in the same time frame. Like, I feel like Justin Bieber was popular around the same time that One Direction was.
Mhm.
You know, so it definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, rest in peace, Liam.
You remember Austin
Rest in
Mahone?
peace.
Austin Mahone.
He was like
yeah.
Justin Bieber's competitor.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember that man. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, I can't even think of
I
his
forgot the
song.
songs, though.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I know who that is, but I forgot what
Sorry,
he sings.
Like-
Austin Mahone.
Mahone
We
sounds
love you.
familiar, but I
Should I
keep
look it
thinking
up?
Post Malone. So, like, that's
I can
not
only think
right.
about Jared's gonna pull up this.
I'm pulling it up.
Google him.
Oh my
Google
god.
him. How do you spell it? Oh.
Looks like that.
Oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
you can see a picture of him. I
Okay.
don't think we're allowed to play his music.
We go.
though.
No,
Oh,
I
I'm
don't think
not.
we can.
All I ever need.
Yeah. like-
Yeah, feet pitbull.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Pitbull.
She
Is the world
said,
wide.
Yeah, that was the song. I remember that right? I don't know.
Dude,
I just remember him like coming on the scene. I'm like, is this
2000.
Justin Bieber's competitor?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
He had the
I
bowl
remember
cut and
him.
everything. Oh, and Cody Simpson.
I do remember Cody Simpson.
Oh,
Now how do you remember him?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I grew up in a small town. We knew about such and such.
I didn't like that he dated Miley. I was like, get away from her.
I just remember that, and I thought that was kind of a little weird too, actually.
Yeah, I was
I'm
like, what?
Didn't he come out with a song in the past couple years?
Cody?
Yeah, like Golden or something.
I think so. I remember him becoming.
It
more
wasn't
of a
like
man.
that. It wasn't the song that like was big on TikTok, right? You're
I
so
think it
golden.
was. Yeah.
I
That
think
was
it
him?
I think it was.
That was not him.
because it was like TikTok viral or something.
What?
Like
Oh,
that.
wait, Golden thing?
Just look at the
Wait,
lyrics.
but You're So Golden, that's Harry, right?
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, thank God.
That is good.
Thank God.
Damn.
Yeah.
Got us.
Yeah.
But he did have a song called Golden Thing.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Which I think I added it to the
No, that's
playlist.
me.
Oh, I did. I literally did because it has the check. The check.
I'm
thing.
so dead.
That's funny. I need to listen to that later, but we won't on the podcast because we don't want to get.
I have like no
demonetized.
reason to hate that man. I literally just don't know him.
I don't know
I
either.
just don't know
Yeah.
him.
Like,
I saw with Miley Cyrus after like her little breakup with Liam. And I
right.
was like, no! But also, sure.
Like,
Because
hey.
I think you were unhappy in your marriage. But
Yes.
no!
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, good for Miley.
Got
honestly,
to get out of that
She looks
one.
great.
she does.
Mhm.
I really gotta hand it to her.
She looked beautiful at the
Yeah.
Grammys.
She
Yeah, she
did.
did.
She did. And like people still give her shit to this day. And I'm like, you know what? Like, leave Miley alone. Like,
Just let her live.
I'm not even a Miley Cyrus fan. I'm just like, leave
Grammys.
her alone.
I think the Grammys were good this year.
I thought they were okay. Yeah, no, the
I'm
Gram- like
jaded.
who they awarded, top tier. I'm like, good. Like, I'm glad like Doechii got her flowers and
Oh yeah.
And I don't give a fuck that Beyonce got the country album of the year.
yeah. And we know why people were mad about
Yeah. It's
that.
like,
Which is hilarious to me considering the origin of country music.
also
like-
where it is now.
Right.
Right. Like,
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
yeah, I'm
Country
sorry.
girl, shake it. Like, it's not like y'all are out here, being
Like,
the man in black.
right.
Come
I
on
know.
now.
The same four topics.
Revolutionizing.
in every single
Game.
country song.
This
Like,
is real country music.
I just, you know what?
Country
It's
girl.
crazy. It's so crazy to me when people want to argue that, like, oh, country music is not what it's supposed to be. Beyonce shouldn't have gotten that. But, like, you do realize that modern day country music came from black folk music. From like
It's
the
very
20s.
much like trap.
Elizabeth
a lot
Cotton
of people
and
do not know that.
Blind Willie Johnson, like y'all took that.
Casey Musgraves was also in that category too. I would have been fine with her winning it as well.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I honestly think the Grammys were so tired.
Yes, they were very
People being
tired.
like, why is Beyonce not getting album of the year? And they were
Right.
like, you know what? I'll show you something.
Like,
And
come over
I
here.
think that's why she looked so surprised.
Yeah.
Because she was like,
She looked so shocked.
Yeah.
this album? Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she thought that in her head, like, this album, guys.
Right.
She had self-titled with Partition, Beyonce.
Right.
I mean, with so many hits. I mean, I've listened to that album straight through, and I don't be listening to albums like that
Right.
so many times. And then Lemonade came
Right.
out. They
Lemonade
wrote
was good.
think pieces on that, and that girl still did not win album of the year.
Right.
So much so that it was so powerful that Adele had to be like, "Hey, actually, thank you for this award, but Beyonce,
Right.
this album, amazing.
Right.
Like
Adele was in tears.
In
like,
tears.
saying that to her.
that album's amazing. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't want to hear this shit like, oh, she can sing
Yes.
objectively.
She can.
She can sing so good. She
Right.
sings so well. Like, you can't, I don't want to hear, like, can't sing. Like, I don't care if you don't like some of her lyrics, whatever, but I feel like Self-Titled and Lemonade were so, they're just good pieces of art.
Right.
And it's just a shame that she didn't win it for that. She won
Right.
it for Cowboy Carter. I honestly think,
Right.
like, Grammys was, like, fucking with her.
Right.
Be like, hey, this album that I know that you made just for funsies,
Right.
I'm actually going to give it to you now.
Right.
Oh, and I know she was in the, like, the black Escalade, be like, fuck this.
She was mad as hell.
She was in that
like,
Mercedes Benz race.
this
like,
album?
fuck.
Like, this is the album?
This was the last time I mess around.
Everywhere. But you know what? I mean, and Beyonce's not my cup of tea, but I can acknowledge that she is probably one of the greatest artists of all time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
she for sure is.
Yes.
Like, and I don't
She's made
care.
her mark.
Same.
She's
Yeah.
made her mark.
Yeah, exactly.
She just magically, like, get here. Like, when people were saying, like, why is everyone thinking Beyonce? Beyonce's been around for a
She's
really
Destiny's
long
Child. Y'all don't
time.
remember?
Like,
Like,
a really long time.
I
She's got
swear.
so much skin in the game. She had the whole damn body in the game.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
like, it's so much so, like, when you look at artists like Normani, you're like, oh, Beyonce.
Right.
Like, you know, you see the
You see the
influence. Like, when I
influence.
hear people that have, like, certain afflections in their voice, I'm like, oh, Beyonce.
Yes.
It's so,
Right.
she's just everywhere.
And it's distinctive. Like, you know, like, you listen to a song, you can hear that it is Beyonce. Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't sound like everybody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And again, like, I'm saying that as somebody who's not really a Beyonce fan.
Yeah.
Like, I don't listen to Beyonce's music like that. But
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
acknowledge that she is probably one of the greatest artists of all time. And she's very distinctive. And for people to sit here and be like, she didn't deserve this and she didn't deserve that, we know why you're saying that. We know good and well
Yeah.
why you're saying that.
Come
Right.
on.
Right. So let's make that very clear. Like,
Yeah.
you know good and well why you're saying that. And
I
it's
would've
not
rather-
rooted in fact.
I don't, as a Beyonce stan, I don't even like Cowboy Carter like that. But, hey, we all know Grammys is a popularity contest. I
Right.
don't know why they're
Yeah,
acting
right.
brand new like it's not.
Right.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great albums that should have won. I think Doechii,
Oh,
rightfully so.
Doechii was
Great.
amazing.
But, come on, the best album of the year? Who else was in that? Billy?
Yeah, Billie Eilish. But
No,
Billie
but
Eilish has
Billie
been
was,
winning.
was good, but, like, okay.
Like, and you know what? Yeah, exactly. Like, you know,
There's
Billie
not a
Eilish's
lot of-
album was good, but like,
There's not a lot of names that albums just popped out to me like, oh yeah, that could have won. I was like, these are all kind of the same level.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they
I
all
wasn't too
kind of,
concerned with that.
you know, I mean,
So,
and it's just, it was beautiful that like all the artists that did win something, like also spoke their piece on like what was going on in the world too. Like, I
oh
think
yeah,
that
Chapel
was really,
Road talking
yeah.
about, hey, can we have some health insurance?
Yeah, for real. Like,
Yeah.
musicians should
Yeah.
have
I
health
was like,
insurance.
oh yeah, as someone who doesn't do
Right.
that for a living, I say, oh yeah, you guys don't have that.
No.
Should have that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
you are
definitely
working
don't.
for a company.
Yeah. Basically, yeah,
When
you're
you get
giving your
signed.
all to a company. You're giving all your time to them, and
Mm-hmm.
You're
Can't
a
go
worker.
to the doctor?
That's why I never understood. Like, you're a worker.
right,
Like, yeah,
you're an employee.
I have benefits.
Yes.
So that would
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, everything
some
that
people-
was said was valid, 100%.
I was like, okay.
It's a
That's
great
yeah,
use
she had
platform.
Yeah,
standing
that they
applause.
Mm-hmm.
right.
That was cool. Speaking of Chapel, they disrespected my homeboy Babyface.
They did.
In that interview.
They did.
Associated Press. I don't know that lady's name, but if I remembered,
She's not important.
I would name you.
I would name you.
And this other co-host, we're interviewing Babyface, who was like a legendary R&B
Yes.
writer, producer, singer. Just great. She's talking to a literal legend. Now, why would you, as a reporter, talking to a legend such as Babyface, be like, Chapel?
Right. In the middle of him talking.
In the middle
by the
of
way.
Babyface's interview.
Right. That is the
Chapel!
most disrespectful thing I saw.
And then Chapel comes over, obviously, because, like, who's calling my name?
Right.
And Babyface like, oh, should I go?
Right.
Just being his, gentleman self, he leaves. And the co-host is looking at her like,
The co-host looks super uncomfortable.
oh my God. Like,
I would be.
Twitter, they had to be going off because they made her like, hey, I'm a big fan of Babyface, blah, blah, blah. And her two other co-hosts who are of ethnic descent look at her like, you bitch.
Yeah.
Like, that's the last time that lady is going to. The optics were all wrong of it. It's like,
Right.
we're talking to a literal legend, a black man.
Right. He has a star on the
Yeah,
Hollywood Walk. Like,
Chapel just got here.
Right,
No
that's-
disrespect to Chapel, but she just got here.
yeah, and you know what? I don't think
Well,
Chaperone
in a
even
way.
knew that was going on. Like, I don't even think when she
No.
walked up, she knew that this happened.
Yeah, she's
Right.
just like, la, 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 la.
Like, she was like, oh, somebody called my name. Like, okay, I didn't know
Her
that.
two
You're-
co-hosts were looking at her like, yeah, this is the last time you gonna be on the red carpet for
Right.
a real long
Yeah, she
time.
did
Right.
not know who that was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
she was like,
that's-
I'm a big fan. I was like, do you? Because that was Babyface.
yeah.
Interrupted.
Like,
That, yeah.
he's
That's
one,
like interrupting Stevie Wonder.
yeah.
Like, what?
And he's won, like, if I'm not mistaken, like, several Grammys.
Like-
Like, I mean, so many. Was it
Yeah,
Grammys?
like,
Shit.
I'm like trying to remember what awards he's won,
He's
but it's several accolades that Babyface
crazy.
has won.
Like, do you not do like a quick, like little phone search, something?
Yeah,
Come
like,
on.
don't you think that
He's not just a regular guy.
that's the point
Yeah.
of journalism too? Is that you should know at least like 5 facts about whoever you were interviewing.
the other
Right, and
co-host
that's
was trying to
like-
save face, be like, oh, no.
Like
You
that's
didn't leave it.
yeah.
I was like, I couldn't imagine that. Ugh.
you know what?
Rude.
It's more embarrassing for the host to have to live with that afterward
Yeah.
because
Not saying that she's racist or anything. I'm saying in this day and age, the
Yeah.
optics of that, yeah.
Right.
She ain't gonna be on a red carpet for a long time.
right. It's not a good look.
It's not a good
Yeah,
look.
look.
if you're at the
At all.
Grammys, you should know who is there.
Right.
Yeah, like
And who you're interviewing.
Right.
Interviewing
But
that person.
Also, you should have enough respect to finish up your interview with whoever you're talking to if you
Right.
feel so
It was
inclined
lovely
to
to
go
meet
talk
you,
to someone
baby
else.
face. I hope you have a wonderful night. You look great.
Right.
Come on.
And even just some sort
Put
of
me in,
courtesy.
coach.
Right.
Associated Press, you looking
Tag
for
me
somebody
in.
else.
Like, please.
Oh,
Exactly.
my.
Like, you couldn't have, like, respectfully ended the conversation if
Yeah.
you just so wanted to talk to Chapel Roan. Like, you
Yeah.
could have just been like, hey, you know, just like you said, like, Babyface,
Yeah.
it was great talking to you, good seeing you. Then go talk to whoever the fuck you want to talk to. Like,
Yeah.
you know, don't just interrupt the man while he's in the middle of speaking in an interview that you asked him to do, and then just go talk to whoever you want and call that person's name in the middle of this man's
It just
speaking.
seems so
That's
cold.
disrespectful.
It is. It's so rude. It's rude as fuck.
Yeah, that's not
And he was
okay.
talking like he was talking. It's like, dang, girl, like
Yes.
it wasn't even like an awkward pause or anything. You just
Right. Right. Exactly. So,
I don't like that.
nope. But yeah.
Other
she
than
ain't-
that, Grammys. Love it.
Oh, the Grammys?
Beyonce released a rock album.
Did she?
Nope.
Oh.
I want her to.
was like,
saying
wait a minute, did
Release
she?
it.
You said,
Make
Beyonce,
it.
I'm speaking to you right now.
Speaking to you right now. Go ahead and just get corn.
Yeah, you know what?
I would
Yes.
love Beyonce on like
Collab with corn.
Bro,
Good
corn and Beyonce.
Lord.
Just like
Because I feel like corn has respect for like black music.
100%.
Yeah.
Most
That
rock
would be
musicians
cool.
do because that's also
Yeah.
rock music came from black people.
Yeah, we're not gonna
Like-
involve like Slipknot, but shout out to them. But I
Right.
just remember like one very old interview, with, like Corey Taylor, like kind of ripping on the "Beautiful Liar" music video
Ooh.
with Beyonce and Shakira. I was like, I hate you.
Like,
Me being like,
get it,
seeing
Corey.
being like, you're dead to me.
I'm
People
dead.
do
Wow.
equal shit, don't they?
No, but I'm dead. No, you know what?
There she-
Beyonce, yeah, Yeah.
I have the
wanna hear it.
weirdest grudges, by the way.
You know,
It gets
and
me over
that's
the
okay.
wall.
That's okay.
Most random things.
That's okay.
So,
As you should.
as I should. But yeah, Beyonce rock album, great. Maybe like Fifi Dobson. I want like just what she did with the country album, like just bring on women who are in the country space, but they're
Right.
ethnic and like sometimes maybe they're not. Sometimes they are blocked from having some skin in the game in that
Right.
scene
Right.
because of their race.
Right.
And I don't care what anybody says. That's why.
No, it's things we should talk
No,
about.
that's- yeah.
Those are things that need to be talked about, you know.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunately the case 9 times out of 10 that they are barred from performing in specific genres because of who they are, because of who they ethnically are, racially are, whatever it may be. And
So
I think that that's such a disservice. Like it's such a
Yeah.
disservice to music in general because some of the best art has come from people who
Yes.
have different ethnic backgrounds.
No,
Like
she had to have known that because I feel like after that, it's like it was very much like, oh wait, because I didn't know the
Right.
girls that she brought. I didn't know.
Right.
Like, I'm not a big country person, but like I feel like I'm a little bit knowledgeable of who's in it, even
Right.
like the small people. So I was like, who's this? I
Right.
didn't know she was there.
right.
Like I was like Tanner Adele. That
Yeah.
girl with the blonde hair. Oh, beautiful. Sings great.
Right.
It's like, and she thinks she lives in Nashville. I was like,
Right.
oh, okay.
What?
I
Her
didn't
and
even
everybody.
know.
Right.
So sorry.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Casey Musgraves
um,
all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Randomly out. I was like, oh, there's
I
Casey.
know.
So, yeah, they're
There
like
you go.
everyone's low key, but I really did not know there was like that many black artists
Mhm.
in the country scene. Now it's like, oh, cool, yay!
And Nashville
And I
is-
feel like that almost like comes like a catalyst. Be like, hey,
right.
this is how it's like, oh, cool.
It's great about Nashville too that you can discover like different artists out here too. I love the fact that there is like a layer of diversity out here that you can find artists like, oh, I didn't know like that. There was country music like this. I didn't know there was rock music like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I really do like about this city.
With
I
that
love
being
it.
said, Beyonce rock album with my friends, husbandry.
100%.
Yeah, just like random man from New York. I was like, yeah, take them on.
Well, 2024 was one hell of a ride, unfortunately. And fortunately, but mostly unfortunately. I feel like there was just something in the air that just shouldn't have been there, truthfully.
Aliens.
Aliens.
At least,
Yeah. And we discovered there were aliens in the ocean. But
no one gives a shit.
nobody cares.
Come and get me.
I still have to
Stop
pay
telling
rent.
me about it.
I still have to pay rent. So
Yeah.
Unless the bill stop, I don't want to talk about it.
I know,
Y'all
right?
better come pick me up.
like please beam me up.
Yeah, like I'm tired.
Like please.
Right.
I've
God.
sent letters.
I know. You've mailed
Still
letters
waiting.
to the aliens?
Yeah.
Still waiting back.
Still waiting for an answer back. They
Yeah.
left you on red, literally.
Where do you address them?
Like Bikini Bottom or
That's where the real aliens are.
you know.
100%.
SpongeBob's really an alien.
Or in New
True.
Jersey. They're flying around in drones and shit.
Bro.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I
it's
can
not the
talk about
government,
that.
I'm
but the
gonna write
government
a
doesn't
letter.
care. It's the government.
Yes, 100%. It is.
Anyways.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yes, thanks for listening
watching
in.
our first episode. So yeah, I'm Sagwa the Chinese cat. This is Rose, Taryn.
And we are Sisterhood of the Traveling Rants. You can stream us on
I
anywhere.
messed that part up.
We are. Should we say it all?
No,
I
we'll
just
do-
said it
yeah,
10
yeah.
times.
And we are
Sisterhood of the
Traveling
Traveling
Rants.
Rants. You can stream us anywhere that you can stream podcasts in general. Spotify, YouTube, all of that good stuff. We'll be releasing episodes bi-weekly. Until next time,
Catch you later.
see you then.
Bye.